Hello and welcome. You're watching CNN News 18. I'm Grihatul Siddiqui. Let's begin the top of three with some breaking news that we are getting on the broadcast, and this has got everything to do with the Congress presidential polls, where the turmoil and the indecisiveness around it doesn't seem to end. Now we are told that the Congress presidential candidate and senior Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge has said that he'd asked Shashi Tharoor to agree for a consensus candidate for the Congress president, but Tharoor wanted to contest the polls.
उन्होंने मेरे को टेलीफोन किया था कंग्रेचुलेट करने के लिए। तब मैंने कहा धन्यवाद आपको, लेकिन ये बेटर होगा कि कंसेंसस कैंडिडेट बनके एक ही उभर के आए। तब उन्होंने कहा नहीं, डेमोक्रेसी में फाइट करना है, इसलिए फाइट करता हूं। तब मैंने कहा ठीक है। अब जब कोई कैंडिडेट इरादा करता है कि कंटेस्ट करने का, तो उसको मैं कैसा माउंस करूं? तो इसीलिए वो लड़ रहे हैं।
Well, we wonder if statements like these that have just come out of Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge will help the Congress's case, because we do know how there have been several questions that were raised about how the Congress presidential election isn't a democratic process. The person who needs to be the president has already been decided. The remote control, that's what the accusation continues to come forth by the BJP, is in the hands of the Gandhi family. That is the big question mark, and this was something that was also challenged by the G23, a member of which is Mr. Shashi Tharoor. Now, if the senior Congress leader, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, is going ahead and asking Shashi Tharoor to sort of step down so that there is a consensus candidate when it comes to the Congress presidential elections, of course, matters lay fairly clear on who does the Gandhi family really support here, or who is the Gandhi nominee in this case, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge. I'll take this across to my colleague Pallavi, who is now joining me on the broadcast. Pallavi, that is exactly the big question. That entire democratic process of whether this election is democratic at all has always been questioned, not just by, let's say, the BJP, by the people within the Congress party, like Mr. Shashi Tharoor, like the G23 for that matter. Now, if we have statements like this that have just been made by Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, clearly that question mark remains.
Yes, and there are two important points which come out of the press conference. One is, of course, when he says that when there was no one else contesting from the Gandhi family, I was told that you should be contesting, and therefore I decided to contest. Second is, when I asked him this question about the fact that does he think that Shashi Tharoor should withdraw from the fight, he said that when Mr. Tharoor called me up, I told him there should be a consensus candidate, and it's up to him whether he wants to contest or not. I mean, thereby the implication was that do want Shashi Tharoor also to step down. And the more important thing from the entire tenor of the press conference, it was very clear. And the way we are seeing it, I mean, the media department organizing the press conference, he's being flanked by leaders of the Congress party. And from today onwards, his campaigning process will begin. Just goes on to show that there is an official stamp on Mallikarjun Kharge. And it's very clear that he's the chosen one.
Pallavi, what do you think should happen if the Congress really has to battle these critiques? Shouldn't Mr. Shashi Tharoor, for that matter, be given that choice and that chance to probably lead? Because here, this is something which is already coming to fore, that Mr. Kharge is the chosen one. He is eventually going to be the Congress president. And however, the remote control is going to be with the Gandhis. That's the argument that continues to stick by the Congress party. But given the new order, a chance is something that the Congress party truly needs?
Well, I think more than that, they also need to send out a perception that Mr. Tharoor is welcome to contest the election. Still now, it doesn't seem to be giving that impression. Because when I spoke to Kumari Selja, for example, on the day of the nomination, she tells me that, it's in the fitness of things that he withdraws. In fact, a short while back, Salman Sood also put out a tweet saying that we actually welcome a debate between Tharoor as well as Kharge. I don't think there are going to be any takers from the Kharge camp. So, the messaging is going out very subtly but very, very clearly to the 9,000 delegates who are going to be voting that who really is the official face. And getting those numbers are not going to be difficult for Mr. Kharge, but Tharoor certainly is putting up a very strong fight as well.
So, Pallavi, in my earlier chats with you also, you had mentioned about 8th of October, how that becomes very, very crucial. Now, if there are feelers within the Congress party, this possibly is also pushing Shashi Tharoor to probably withdraw his candidature before the 8th?
But I don't think he's in a mood to withdraw, at least now, from the kind of statements which are coming from him and the kind of statements which are coming in from those who proposed and endorsed his name. Certainly the message is that he wants to put up a strong fight. Many would ask that what does Tharoor get out of it? Clearly the numbers are not stacked in his favor. I think he wants to prove a point that having pushed for transparency and organization elections, he wants to make the point that I really want to contest the elections and I'm not ready to give up a fight. Let's also not forget 2024 Lok Sabha elections are up. Even if he puts up a brave fight, loses, I think that's the messaging he would want to take across to his constituency, that I am brave, I am not scared of losing, because that's what politicians are all about.
All right, Pallavi, stay on with us. I'm also now joined by Mr. Shehzad Poonawalla of the BJP. Mr. Poonawalla, what do you make of all the developments that are coming to fore now when it comes to the Congress presidential elections? Now that senior Congress leader Mr. Kharge has sort of asked Mr. Tharoor to subtly step down so that there is a consensus candidate.
Griha, when I was very young, I don't know if you all ever saw it, there was something called WWF on television. For a very long time, I thought it was genuine. Later on, my father told me that it was a fake fight. Today, what is happening in the Congress party is like the wrestling that takes place on WWF. It's a cosmetic exercise. It's a fixed match. It is so rigged that even North Korea would be embarrassed to call this an election. But simply just go by the statements. Mr. Kharge, when he filed his nomination, the entire Bharat of Congress was with him. Shashi Tharoor was alone. Today, Sonia Gandhi was pictured with Kharge right front and center, paying tribute to Mahatma Gandhi. Kharge, when he filed his nomination, said that I am the candidate of the Congress party. Chidambaram has written an op-ed article saying that whoever is the president, the leaders are the Gandhi family. Muralidharan has said that whoever the Nehru family blesses will be the president. Do you consider this to be anything more genuine than a WWF match?
Well, the simile is very, very interesting. I would actually, let you have that, Shehzad. But we'll leave it at that. We'll see what happens when it comes to the Congress presidential elections, because clearly things are not really settled here. And this is something which is a match, whether it is rigged or not, is the big question that, of course, the BJP is going ahead and making. But what comes out of it, whether it is Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, who eventually is going to become the Congress president, or Mr. Shashi Tharoor is going to give him a tough fight, is the big question that will only be answered once the results are out, and if at all, the elections really happen. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Shehzad, for joining us on the broadcast. Let me take this next piece of breaking news that we're